to start it.
Neither.
Well, thanks for your help.
I should have thought of this first.
No, I was just gonna go with the flow. All right. I am Josh Whitman. This is Amber Whitman. We almost a year now moved into what was just kind of a little cottage. Lived in the city, place to get away. Just across the road, I grew up every summer at Little Silver Lake Campground, and really love this area. Have a lot of great memories being up in this area, and still have a lot of great friends and family in Little Silver Lake. But really wanted to do a lot more than just camping. I mean, I come from a farming background. I like the idea of doing all that stuff, making your own food, doing that. We just never did it. And last year when COVID started, we just decided to make the move, and we moved from a 1,200 square foot house, nice basement, garage, all that, out to a 900 square foot house that needed a lot of work, and no basement, nothing like that. So it was quite a change, a big consolidation, but part of, I guess, why we're going to do this video series for a while and see how it goes is just kind of showing people you can live on less. You don't have to have the new this or the new that. Yeah, some things maybe you can splurge on here or there, but a lot of the enjoyment in this world is just simple stuff. Like, we make bread. We don't buy bread anymore. That's something we've done over the last month or so. And we're going to continue to kind of phase things out and make as much stuff as we can, basically just buying ingredients. We've already gone, just in the last several months, our food bills from roughly $600 down to, we're at $300. And I anticipate next year, once we raise our own pigs, we have some steers now that you've seen later in this video. We're going to cut our food bill down to maybe $200. Plus, we know where that food came from, so there's a big importance to us there. But I guess over the next several months, and we'll see how long this lasts, just depending on the excitement from everyone that would watch it. I guess there's a lot more yet that we still have to do here to get where we want to be, and right now we just have a couple of steers. We went on with the neighbors with steers. We have 25 six-odd chickens. We get about a dozen and a half eggs a day. Our plan this spring is to get roughly 6, 7, 8 pigs. We're also going to get into goats and lambs. Ideally, we'd like to get into milking goats. So certainly we'll have a lot of that on this journey as well.
We're going to go visit our old neighbor. She started goats and stuff a while ago. So we're going to go see how they do it before we jump into it.
And probably buy some goats and maybe even a lamb for meat or something like that too. Another adventure, we have a machine shed, not real big, maybe, I don't know if it's 20 by 30 at the most, maybe something like that. But we're going to remodel that and insulate it and basically make that a butcher shop, put a walk-in cooler. We've already got some things geared towards butchering. Started processing deer, just kind of to see where it went, and did almost 30 deer last year, and made some good money that went towards a lot of the equipment we have. So that's a short synopsis of, I guess, what we're doing and why there's enough people that wanted to see video of it, and so we figured we'd share it a little easier. The more and more I got into Facebook, I guess I'm less thrilled with Facebook, but certainly there's a lot of good stories out on YouTube, and there's a lot of other channels that we follow and have learned things on, how to make this kind of bread, or how to do this, or, maybe you just get an idea and you make it your own off of that. So there'll be
Plus, it's a great opportunity for the kids to learn everything and just be out in the country and not so much worry about the city life. And
that's probably one of the biggest ones, is we just decided last year we'd make the move, even though it's a small house. We've done a lot of work in the last year on it, but
we've made it work.
Yeah. And we do have a fair amount of acreage here, and a lake or swampy good duck hunting, goose hunting lake on our property as well. So we're fortunate that way. But just giving the kids that chance to get dirty and do all sorts of stuff up north, and more or less on vacation, but we're really living a vacation every day. For that matter, it's not that we're looking forward to the weekends. We're doing stuff all the time after work, and Amber stays at home, so there's a lot that she can do as well. So we look forward to making a few more videos here. We'll certainly get better at our video editing as we get into this, but at least we have volume, so we got that figured out. All right, thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye. We're grinding up some of the pork butt that we cut up and deboned. This is store-bought pork butt. There, Madeline is dancing in the background. Store-bought pork butt. We're basically out of the pig that we butchered back in, what was it, end of October. We've used a lot of that up. Other than the bacon, we still have a fair amount of bacon. But the grinder we're using in this is a 3/4 horsepower carnivore grinder from Cabela's. A lot of research, everything that we've looked up, it really seems to grind well through like tendons and anything, when you get into cleaning deer and whatnot. And the main reason I'm doing this audio is we're just learning how to use this camera, one that my dad had gotten, wanted to do some videos of hunting and all that, which we intend to do again. Did a lot of that a while back, but we were recording all this without the sound, so we have it figured out now, and all the rest of our videos will have sound, so you can hear everything we're talking about as we're doing it. So this audio is just to kind of fill in place. Madeline is a very good helper. She helps quite a bit, whether it's doing a lot of this stuff, helping with TJ. She likes to do all of that. Now we're getting into after the grind. We're to the point where we're gonna make up our batch. So we split it into two roughly 20-pound batches, and that's what this recipe is going through, and what I'm trying to talk about, what you can't hear. We will have the recipe at the end of this little segment here, just in case anyone's interested. It's something we've kind of honed in over the last several months to something that we really like. A big component of it, and what I really feel makes this really good Italian sausage, is that red wine vinegar. So we do go a little bit heavier with that than most other recipes do, and it certainly adds to that flavor, and you can smell it when it's cooking, and then that vinegar just sitting 24 hours with that pork really puts a lot to it, as far as breaking it down a little bit and adding a really good taste to it. And each one of those bottles is roughly, almost exactly 2 cups. So we put 2.5 cups in. Now we're getting out a 1/3 cup and 1/4 cup measuring. And again, the reason we do at least 20 pounds or more a batch, you can make a lot all at once, get it done, and then freeze it and have it for many weeks to come. We use this a lot, like for breakfast sausage. I know breakfast sausage technically is a different recipe, but we'll use it a lot in the morning for breakfast, like the biscuits and gravy. We'll use it just to make breakfast burritos. We'll mix it like half and half with venison to do meatballs with spaghetti. We are going to mix it with venison and do some lasagna later tonight with some homemade noodles as well. So there's a lot of uses, but really, I mean, the main staple of it, we'll eat it a lot for breakfast, is our meat if we aren't using our bacon. And certainly the bacon, we'll get into a lot of that over this next year, as far as how we make the bacon, curing it. I'm going to end up buying some pork bellies and some hams, and we're going to play around with curing and smoking some of the bellies and hams on a larger scale, as well as slicing them and packaging them and all that. Here we're just basically mixing up all the ingredients. Down the road we may use like a meat or sausage mixer. We do have one, but it's only I think it only holds 15 pounds. So we just do this part by hand. And then here's the recipe. Packaging everything up. We basically have it figured out where it's about a pound and a quarter on average, anywhere from a pound to pound and a half. But pound and a quarter, pound and a half typically is where that comes out with these size bags. And there's Madeline pushing it down. Basically, we just kind of push it to even and level it out so it's fairly flat. We also like that because it sits in the freezer better. You can stack things a little nicer. But basically, a little sealing bar with this chamber vacuum sealer. It pretty much, when you close down, it's creating a negative vacuum more or less on the inside and outside of the bag. And they got different spacers in there. We got some nails and gloves, basically just to hold it from pushing out because we had the vacuum on high as far as how much vacuum it's creating on there. And you can adjust the amount of seconds on there. I think we have 30 seconds for our hamburger type bags. If we're doing larger bags, it may take a little bit longer. We've done a couple of soups in here as well. It is really nice. You have to stop it short, but you can vacuum seal soups in there, which is handy as well. I forget what Madeline was saying there, and there's a little TJ. So, the main part with this vacuum sealer that we really enjoy, it was fairly expensive. It was $900 for this unit, and it can do 10 by 13 bags is the largest bags it can handle. But the vacuum sealing quality is much better than the vacuum sealers. And again, the bags are cheap. Plus, we used it for when we butchered deer this fall. We did 25, 28 deer for other people and charged 70 to $90 depending on what they wanted done for the deer. So we made over $2,000 cleaning deer this fall. So that certainly helped offset some of the costs as well. There's TJ helping push it down flat. So yeah, the rest of our videos should have audio included. All right, we're gonna make some pasta. Doing lasagna tonight, so we're gonna roll these out real thin and make some lasagna noodles as a part of our overall baking today. Basically, you start out with some egg yolks and flour, lightly salt, however much or little salt you like. It really isn't too particular. And again, we got 6 egg yolks in here. The amount of flour you need, I just make a generous bowl, and then you're going to slowly incorporate it in here. Definitely don't forget a decent amount of olive oil. That helps keep everything soft. And then we're going to break the yolks up and just slowly start incorporating that flour into there around the edges of the bowl. Something we started looking at a little bit more seriously just since we're buying flour in bulk now and we have 1.5 dozen chicken eggs a day. It just made sense to really get into making your own flour. Sorry, noodles, yes. Alright. So once you get to a certain point, flour on there, slide some of this back. And again, that olive oil definitely keeps it nice, soft, and supple. I've done it obviously without olive oil, and you forget it, and it's just a hard little rock. It's hard to really do anything with it as far as rolling it out when you get to that noodle part. I know a lot of people, you're going to want to probably knead this and just kind of work it into a dough ball and get that gluten working for you. Probably 5 to 7 minutes. You're just going to want to keep working it any which way you want. Just keep pushing it down just like you're doing bread or anything else. we've waited about a half hour or so. End up getting in some other things, but your dough, after working it, you know, for that 5-7 minutes, should be kind of like Play-Doh-ish, you know, soft. Again, that oil definitely helps soften it up a little bit. Some of the other recipes I've seen, people basically, you can cut it in pieces, break pieces off, but you want to just start, you don't want to start with the whole amount per se. So I'll set some off to the side. Take my really big rolling pin here. We'll smush that out and we'll just start rolling her out. Once we get enough dough on there, flour. So since we're making lasagna noodles, we're basically going to try going as long and, I don't know, at 2-3 inches, you know, whatever the lasagna noodles come from in the store, you know, get something somewhat resemblance of that. Everything I've seen as far as making pasta, you want to roll this out fairly thin so that, you know, you can almost see your fingers through it when you pick it up and hold it into the light. And again, going into lasagna, I mean, none of our pasta is, I'll go a little thinner, is machine made, so it's not going to be perfect. Don't expect it to be perfect, but the taste definitely will be worthwhile. This over here. Alright. So we might just cut that down, but kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see my fingers, a little bit of a shadow in there. So we'll set that aside, and we'll just go through and roll out the rest of these as well. Here's our finished noodles. Those, I don't know what they're even called, the flat noodles for the lasagna. And then we mix, so the darker stuff is just venison. And then the Italian sausage that we made earlier, we didn't even freeze that stuff. We'll mix those together and that'll be our meat for the lasagna. And then we're going to use this. I don't know, we did probably 30 quarts and pints of tomato sauce this last year. Like I said, we just started making that transition, trying to make all our own food, or at least as basic as possible. And we also threw away all our Teflon pans. All we're using is cast iron. Dutch oven we use for making our bread. We'll do a quick video on that, but we'll fry this stuff up together and then put everything else, all the ingredients together, and kind of run you through that.
Alright, we got the hamburger, or venison, and the Italian sausage all fried up. And we are going to add the rest of the tomato sauce. And then a little bit of garlic salt. And a little bit of Italian seasoning. And then we're going to mix this up, and then we will start layering our lasagna. Alright, we're going to start with our meat. We're going to put a layer of meat down. About half, because then we leave half for one more layer. Spreading it nice and evenly. And then we're going to add a layer of cheese.
Belgioso cheese. Although this is some stuff we got from Amber's sister that don't know if it was mislabeled or whatever. There's nothing wrong with the cheese, but this looks like a Publix brand that they make up here in Wisconsin. Very, very good Italian cheese. Highly, highly recommend it. This is some provolone. There is a type of cheese they make called burrata, which is mozzarella with shredded mozzarella and cream inside of there. It's a ball. And I don't know if you can get it on somewhere you can buy it, or possibly maybe some outlet through them. And just the shredded stuff, we'll use that at times instead of the cottage cheese or ricotta cheese. It is very rich, very filling.
So then we're going to take a layer of our noodles.
And break it up if you need to, or yeah, if it overlaps a little bit.
And then normally we use ricotta cheese, but since we don't have ricotta cheese, I have 2 eggs with some cottage cheese, about 2/3 of a 24-ounce container I used. And just mix it really well. And this will be another layer. You could either, like I said, do this or ricotta cheese. And then I normally do another layer of noodles over this. Followed by the rest of the meat. And then I will top that again with some more mozzarella. And then we will be ready to bake. I normally bake it at 375 for 35 to 45 minutes, depending on, I usually look at it depending on the cheese and the top of it, if it's browning. And you can layer it any way you want. I just got into the habit of layering it this way.
And we'll use shredded cheese as well, but definitely this sliced fresh mozzarella is the way to go.
Hi.
Does that look good? Huh? Does it look good? No? Well, get out of here.
We have a picky eater on our hands. But she eats what we eat anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely don't make 2 different meals. Just filling in some of the cracks so it's a nice even melt. And then we're ready to put it in the oven.
Feed.
Dad, I want to see them.
Sure. Throw that in there. Basically, for the winter, we have hay and give them some grain and keep the weight gain going and keep the calories up when it's this cold. Dump it all over in there. And in the summer, our neighbor, we'll show it at some point here, has a pasture that we all went together on and built, so they got a little bit more room to roam. We got a water heater over here. You can see it steaming out. She's pretty cold right now. Dave always seems to find a way to screw with this.
He knocked it out this morning.
Yeah, did he?
Yeah, I picked it up.
Was it frozen here?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they broke their tank.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I know I hit it with the skid steer the one day, but that'll just got to get us through this year. So we'll get them some hay. And now we'll go pick whatever.
What, Dad?
Right now we're using up a bunch of hay from the neighbor's shed that we baled. Other neighbor's baler wasn't working too well, so most of the bales broke, but they seem to like it. It's a little more grass, but we planted winter oats and then alfalfa, and there's a lot of oats in here that's seeded out that they really like to eat. Alright, Madeline, you want to go get some chicken eggs? We'll see what's there in there. Alright, you want to pick them? Yeah, just keep up on the wood chips in here, and it seems to hold the ammonia smell and all that down pretty well. Ooh. We got it insulated. I even spray foamed the ceilings, except for this one side here. Seems to hold the heat in here pretty good.
This is our rooster, Rainbow Sparkles. Madeline named him.
I picked about 8 eggs this morning. I think we got, what, 3, 6, 7 in there. We're averaging about 18 eggs a day. Here, put your hands in your pocket and we'll just run back inside, okay? We'll let them out. Here. Alright.
Daddy eating chicken poop again.
I know, she likes the chicken poop. Darn it.